Okay, hello, hello, hello. God bless you. I'm recording and I'm not doing well here. I'm readjusting things. I'm also videotaping this show. Some of you are listening to me on the radio, which is my priority. But you need to know that we are on YouTube. Okay? Yeah, I finally did it. I got up on YouTube. I've been promising you for how long? Okay? There's only a few videos up there right now, but we're on YouTube. I have a guest here with me today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself to you. Okay?
Well, good morning. My name is Leonardo Bowden, and I am the nephew of your host today. And
He doesn't know what name to call me by because he uses the family name, which I do not use on the air.
okay, all right.
So auntie, just auntie's fine.
I'm here with my auntie as her guest today, and it is an honor and a pleasure to be here this morning.
Okay, God bless you. So let me tell you why I'm going to have this young man here. Yeah, he's one of my nephews. He's my older sister. Is her son, her oldest son. And actually, she's actually in the hospital right now, so you all can pray for her because she's had a really rough year. What a rough year. The lady I was telling you about earlier this year who was on a balcony that collapsed and she was very seriously injured. That was my sister, and that is his mother. And just day before yesterday, I had to have her over at the emergency where she has irregular heartbeat and pneumonia in the hospital, and that's where she spent her Christmas Day. So y'all pray for her, okay? This interview was set up quite a while back, and we've been talking about this for some time, and I want to get it done because his testimony is very, very interesting. This was the first child whose diaper I had to learn to change. And being a younger sister, I got stuck with him a lot babysitting. And he's a full-grown man and been out there in the world, self-destroying him. And he's come a long ways to talk to you, to let you know about where his life has led him and some of the reasons. We're going to have a part 1, part 2 with this because his life is very mature. He's been around for a while now, so he's got a lot to say. And God bless him. Let's get started. Let's talk about when you were a young fella and just stepping out there as a young adult.
Well, first of all, I want to first give honor to God for being here in this opportunity. My days as a young man was very interesting. I bounced around the different high schools and went to Berkeley High, went to Harry L's High, Richmond High. I went to Washington High, and then finally ended up at Sparks High in Nevada. And I did graduate with the diploma. Grade level, I will not share that with you.
How many times you did the 12th grade?
No, I did my years. I did my normal time.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to say the least. Mm-hmm. And
well, why did you move around so much?
well, my mother and my father, who raised me, and
Your stepfather.
my stepfather, but I never considered him as a stepfather.
No, I know we don't do that in our family.
Yeah,
Right. Like Pop was Pop.
Exactly.
My stepfather was Pop, and he was Dad. And then we had Daddy. He was Dad, the blood dad.
Right.
So
there was a dad
we
and
never.
a father.
Yeah. And then I have a husband who raised my 4 kids,
Right.
and he was never treated like a stepfather.
Right.
And
I'm grateful
still
for
isn't.
the way that our family's been structured, that we never looked at either my sisters or my brothers as a step or a half.
Absolutely. Our families are family. That's it. That's it.
And
right.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
But my dad, who raised me, and my brother and my sister, and he married my mother, and they had a separation, and we stayed with my mother, and then there were times where my mother wasn't able to handle us at the time, so we went to go live with our father, and my brother and I, and then my sister came along, and we had a very interesting teenage years.
Right.
And we did it our way, like Burger King.
Right.
We definitely had it our way.
Yes, you definitely had it your way.
And I was into sports, and I played a lot of football and baseball, basketball. I played all three sports, and I also had my biological father that I was dipping and dabbing with him around his side on that side of the family. Mm-hmm. And I can say that my dad, my biological father, meant well, but some of the things that I was intrigued and interesting and wanted to know, and the life that he was living, which was in the 70s, was very interesting.
We won't get into Tom's life.
No.
We won't get into his life because he was a character.
Yes. And,
dynamic life, and I really would love to interview him.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he would love to have an interview
He was
with
crazy.
You. And who he is and who he always have been, I've always loved him.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to have two fathers.
Yes, and some people might know him. Some of the listeners, his name is Tom Bowden, and of West Oakland. They refer to him as the West Oakland mayor. The mayor of West Oakland.
Yes, they do.
He was a character. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I was a very young, 15, 16, 17-year-old doing it in my way. Mm-hmm. And I dibbled and dabbled in drugs.
Right.
And,
like a lot of kids did in those days.
We were curious, and I was curious,
and you got caught up.
And I did get caught up.
Okay.
Well, to move this little fast forward here a little bit, I went to college and to play ball because drug wasn't really, sports was my number one thing that I wanted to be. I wanted to be we always dreamed of being in the NFL,
and you're a big guy.
Yes,
you're a big guy. You always were big.
I'm much bigger than what I was then.
Right. Well, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'2".
And
how much I weigh now?
No, don't talk about how much you weigh now.
No, we don't want to do that.
Because you're a big guy, okay.
And we'll get back to that word, big guy.
Okay, I know about that big guy word.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. So, fortunately, I was able to meet my cousins who live in Seattle. They were visiting the Bay Area. I was working at Eastmont Mall back in the days when Eastmont Mall was Eastmont Mall.
Right.
And they had, there was a ladies' shoe store called Maylene's. I was assistant manager there at Maylene's, and I was 19 years old, and, drugs wasn't it wasn't a thing that I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I found myself to be, I wanted to work and make a living for my life.
Well, drugs are being pushed on people a lot back then. And it was a casual kind of a thing that, no harm, just try it, Right. I even was in the city, up the Capitol building in Sacramento, getting ready to take my real estate exam, and a young fellow dressed in a white shirt and slacks reached in his pocket in the elevator, reached in the pocket and handed me a handful of acid and asked me, want some? Wow. Hey, total stranger.
Wow.
Have some, have it. Go ahead. I said, oh no. Okay, but I was lucky. I was one of those who was bombarded by Raymond, my oldest brother, who was a heroin addict.
Yes, I remember.
And he made sure that I knew how to stay away and how to avoid and the warning signs. Yeah, he worked with me a lot, making sure that I didn't get caught up. Yeah.
For that reason too, the position that I ended up in, my children were able to not do the things that I did.
Amen.
And because they saw what their dad was going through.
Well, I think that whole generation, they just didn't get caught up in the drugs.
Yeah.
They saw what their parents went through. Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I ended up in school playing ball, and I moved to Seattle, which was a great place to be, and I really loved the Northwest, and the family there was. My family there was so loving and so caring, and it was like the way it used to be when we used to live in Mama's house in San Diego, mm-hmm. the love and the support of family. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've always, desired to have, and, because how we grew up. And I remember the good days. So that reminded me, it kept me solid.
Right.
Well, being a guy from California who had long hair down to his shoulders and moving up there, and I was a ladies' man for sure,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And
Just like your dad.
it was like Burger King again. I had it my way.
Right.
And but I did meet a special lady who I ended up marrying, and we had 2 children, my son Jamal and my daughter Savannah, who I can say today, are doing very well.
Yes, praise the Lord.
I'm really grateful for them.
And amen.
And how they're doing. Well, to move this little fast forward, I ended up on drugs, and in my son's years, he's 12 years older than my daughter. So he saw me go through a lot of struggles. My daughter didn't experience it too much because by the time she was born, I was at the bottom of my spiral.
Okay, stop right there because
Yes,
we're going
ma'am.
to take a break, and the engineer's going to do some work over there, and
Sure.
we're going to come back and pick it up from right there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's go. We were talking. Where were we? We left off.
Being up in Seattle and being married to my children's mother.
Okay, let's roll forward.
Okay.
So,
Well, I tell you, I was in church at the time when we got married, but I fell away from the church, and I really started getting into drugs real heavy at the time. At the time when cocaine crack was real popular.
right.
And it
What's
was-
cocaine crack? What do you mean by cocaine crack?
Well, exactly what it is.
Well-
Cocaine that's formed into a rock I don't know. It's just formed into a rock, and you put it in the pipe and you smoke it. I don't know. I'm not
And
totally.
it's a very heavy addiction.
It's a
Okay.
very heavy addiction, and
Okay.
once you get started, it's hard to quit.
Okay, so where did that lead you to? Now you fell away from the church
Well,
and fell away from your wife and
And that means
children,
prison.
right? And so, but why?
Well, what got me in prison was,
Okay, this is
Get ready.
This is not funny, but
No.
I know the story, so let's tell it to the people.
I became Western Washington's most wanted for bank robbery. And I robbed 14 banks in the state of Washington. And I was convicted for them. I turned myself in because they were bothering my family, bothering my parents down here in California, and they were looking for me all over the Pacific Northwest.
Okay,
And when I finally called them to turn myself in, I called my wife at the time, which was my children's mother, and my dad to turn myself in.
and you had a nickname, didn't you?
Yes, they called me the big guy because I was one of those kind of guys that came in and with a smile on my face and was very polite. And
I heard that you were quite a gentleman.
yes, I was. Yes.
Because that's your nature anyway, but it's a shame that the
See,
drugs
the
was
key-
pushing you. Yeah.
What you just said,
It's your nature. It's,
what my nature is, and when we're done with this interview, you'll see how it turns around where I end up back to where my roots
right,
taught me.
right.
You know,
So, but did you use a gun
No.
to threaten them?
I did not.
You didn't go in with a gun blazing and
No,
shooting up
no.
folks, and
If I did
Okay.
that, I wouldn't be sitting right here across from you right now.
that's not your nature.
No.
And see, there's a lot of people don't understand is people's nature doesn't change when they become a drug addicted. It doesn't
But what
change.
does change is when you surrender.
Right.
When you surrender wholeheartedly and talk to God, and I did, because what was the weird thing was when I got arrested and I got booked in, the gentleman who booked me was the best man at my wedding. He worked at the jailhouse. And I asked him for one thing. I wanted the picture of my son and my daughter. Because you couldn't have nothing with you.
Right.
They take everything away from you.
Right.
And I said, Big Fred, can I have those please? And he let me have them. A picture of my son and my daughter. And I
And that held you. That held
That
you
held me
together.
right there.
That held you together.
It held me
Yeah.
together.
It's your focus was on your children.
It was on my children.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what got you through.
And that's what got me through. By the grace of God, I ended up doing 7 years and traveled the country. I started off in SeaTac, Washington. I went to Florence, Colorado. I ended up in Sheridan, Oregon. Long
Different
Park.
prisons. Those are different prisons you
Because
were
the federal system, when you don't do what they tell you to do, they give you what they call diesel therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Diesel therapy is when you're on a bus and they just send you across country.
Oh yeah, torment you by keeping you disrupted. No,
Oh, yeah.
no peace, no settling in.
No mail, no money, no nothing.
Right.
All that stuff and all your belongings are shammed through. People can pick what they want.
And what do you mean by you wouldn't do what they told you to do? Were you a bad boy in prison?
I was not the one to follow to be in a gang.
Right.
And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
That wasn't my nature. I didn't know anything about it. I went to prison at 39.
Right.
Come on, I've never been in trouble, and here I am going to prison at 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing I did learn, I learned how to use my hands.
Uh-oh.
I knew how to fight.
Yeah, you had to defend yourself.
Right, and the youngsters who were in there.
And you weren't a small guy.
No, not at all. And the youngsters there, all they knew how to do was do drugs, push drugs, and shoot guns. Mm-hmm. But when it came down,
well, now you said something that people are not aware of. In prison they were pushing drugs. You see?
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people not aware of the fact that drugs are heavily trafficked in the prison system as well as other things.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't participate, you get ran over or used up. So if they can. So the best thing for young people to do once they get caught up in that is to stay out of everything else that was going on.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. And use your nature as a child growing up and all your life has been like a big teddy bear. Your size has been intimidated to people, but you've always been the kindest, sweetest person that I've ever known.
Yes.
Thank
you.
And people they don't judge people according to how they are. They judge them by their size or their complexion,
and what they see.
and what they see visually, and then their stereotype. This is a big guy, he's mean. But you know what? That's I believe what got you through. And even the people that was in the bank that you robbed said that you were a gentleman. You were a very kind gentleman.
Yeah.
So, but okay, let's get back to what are you doing now?
Well, right now, let me share this with you. I prayed a prayer. I prayed this prayer. I prayed to be back with my children's mother. And I asked God, if I could not be back with my children's mother, give me a virtuous woman, a woman of God, an angel. That's what I wanted. And I came home in 2005, and I got out May the 9th. May 17th, I was working with the help of our cousin, Carrie, who gave me a job, gave me my very first job. And I'm grateful for her and her love and support that she's given me when I came home. And years later, I ended up meeting that beautiful woman, that virtuous woman, and who I'm married to now, and it's my wife.
And
Joyce.
she is quite beautiful.
Yes,
Joyce
Bowden.
yes, she's lovely to the bone.
And sometimes God will never give you what you want, but He'll give you what you need, and then what you needed was always what you wanted anyway.
Amen.
So I'm grateful for that, and I'm in a great, awesome church under the leadership of Bishop Katie Barnes.
And what are you doing in that church?
What do I do in that church?
Yes.
Well, as of October of last year, I was called to the ministry,
and
I am now known as Reverend Leonardo Bowden.
Praise the Lord.
And I am one of the associate ministers over at Abyssinian Baptist Church, located at 528 33rd Street in Oakland.
Praise God.
And again, I'm under the leadership of Bishop Katie Barnes, Sr., and he's a great teacher, and I'm grateful to follow in his teaching. And I learned a long time ago, if you're going to follow a man, as long as he's following Christ, I don't mind following him. So to be a good follower, you will become a good leader.
Amen.
And I'm grateful for that.
So you ended up the way God planned your life in the first place.
Yes.
And all your rebellion, all that distraction, the devil just led you down all these roads to come all the way around to where God wanted you in the first place.
Yes.
Where he had called you to be in the first place.
Yes.
And we do that. We all do that, don't we? We get so rebellious and we get so ungrateful that, we get off onto that other track.
What is special about it is that you have to have a relationship. A lot of people have religion, but you have to have a relationship with God Almighty.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. You have to have a relationship. And that's the way you're going to be able to hear and to understand what he has in store for you. And when you line yourself up with him, you'll be amazed at the things that will come your way and how you can be a blessing to others. And my true nature of me loving people and caring for people, I can do that today. I can do that and I have a lot of happiness in my life. I'm in a good place in my life. I have a great job. I'm a traffic controller for City Ride Safety out of Lodi. And I've been doing it now for 3 years. I have been in the union for many years, even when I was going on, I would call now my sabbatical.
Leonard, we have 1 minute to wrap this up.
Okay.
And I know that people have really enjoyed hearing your testimony of what you've been going through.
Yes.
And we're going to follow up with a little bit more. We're going to get a little bit more detail on another show.
Sure.
Okay? So, but right now, I want you to give them information on how they can contact you if they would like to talk to you more, hear your testimony, or invite you to their congregation to share.
Sure. My number is 510-395-3519. 510-395-3519. Again.
And your church?
And my church is also Abyssinian Baptist Church, located at 528 33rd Street, Oakland, California, under the leadership of Bishop K.D. Barnes.
Praise the Lord. I'm so glad that you were able to come in today and share this information, because this will share with someone else who might have someone who's caught up in drugs right now and they lost hope. And I just want to say that, as long as your children, your loved ones are alive, there's hope.
Yes, there is.
And God will come in, pray for them.
Yes.
And keep on believing that God's going to do his job, because he does.
Yes, he does.
And he will.
Yes, he will.
So we're going to wrap it up. God bless you. Thank you for coming in. And would you stay for another show?
Well, of course I will.
Okay. God bless you. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. See you later. I love you.